All right, hey guys, welcome back to another session with Emily. So today I have a little less yoga for you and a little bit more mobility. So we are going to be focusing on lower body mobility, stretching, and strengthening. Right, this is actually what I do with a lot of my private clients, and so. Especially, this is good for everybody, right? But especially if you experience pain, right? If you experience pain in your feet, in your knees, in your hips, something like that, this is going to be excellent for you, right? So you will need some sort of strap. It can be a belt, it can be a tie or a towel, or it can be an actual yoga strap, right? Anything like that. You will need a ball, so a tennis ball, a lacrosse ball, a golf ball, any kind of ball, right? As long as it's not too soft or way too hard. And then you will need a chair for sitting in. And then you will need some sort of either wall, or I'm just going to be using the side of this couch, right? Something that I can, that has like a flat surface that I can use, right? So a wall is good, a couch is good, something like that. But okay, so we're going to get started with myofascial release of the feet. So grab your ball and then place it on the ground. So I like to stand where I can support myself with maybe a hand on a wall or this couch here. If this is way too intense, you can actually just sit down and do it and you'll get the same result. So we're gonna take the ball, we're gonna start with our right foot. We're gonna take that ball directly underneath of that big toe, right on the big toe mound. Okay, so then from here, we're gonna press into the ball, right? If you experience pain, especially shooting pain or sharp pain, then you back off a little bit, right? But it will probably be a little bit uncomfortable at some point while you're rolling your foot. So we will roll a little bit forward, backwards, a little bit side to side. You can go in circles. There's no real right or wrong to this. It's just a matter of kind of exploring, right? It's an exploration of the foot and seeing where we are maybe having a little bit of problem areas, right? So you're just gonna roll through this area. It's okay if you go into other parts of the foot as well. We'll be rolling all of that here in a moment. So we're just rolling that big toe mound and then come to rest, right? So start to press the big toe mound down into the ball. And then we're gonna curl our toes around the ball. Hold it for a second. And then we're gonna open the toes as wide as we can, right? So we'll curl the toes down and then we'll open back up. We're gonna do that a few more times, right? And remember, there's a difference between pain and discomfort. Discomfort, you will experience. Pain, if you do experience, just back off a little bit, right? All right, let's open and close one more time. And then we're just gonna move to right below all of the other toes, right? So right into all the toe mounds. Okay, so, and then same thing, right? We're gonna roll a little bit forward and backwards, a little bit side to side. All right, again, no right or wrong. If you find an area where there's a lot of sensation, right? It's quite uncomfortable. Then you could always linger there, take a break, take a pause, take a big breath in, and let it go. All right, and then we do that same thing. We're gonna come to rest on those mounds, the mounds of those toes, and then we're gonna close the toes, curl them around the ball as best we can, and then open them up as wide as we can. So we'll do that a few more times. Close and open, close and open. 2 more times. All right, and then we're gonna move to the arch of the foot. Okay, so if you weren't experiencing almost any sensation right below the toes, no problem, right? That's not where you're having your problem area. You are likely to find an area that is very intense for you. So we're gonna move to the arch and we're just gonna roll through that whole section. So it's a bigger section than we've been working with. So you can roll towards the inner arch, towards the inner side of the foot. You can spend some time there. You can roll through the middle and then start to roll towards the outside edge of the foot as well. Right? And if you feel like, for me, I don't experience much sensation on the outside edge of the foot, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time there. It's not my problem area. I'm going to roll a little bit more towards the arch of my foot, right? The inner edge of my foot, and I'm going to roll that area, right? A lot more sensitive for me, so a lot more productive for me to spend some time there. Okay, so same idea. We're going to take the arch of the foot, we're going to press it into the ball, a little or a lot, that depends on how much discomfort you feel here. And then we're gonna curl the toes. They probably won't touch the ball, that's okay. And then we're gonna open the toes back up. Curling the toes and opening. Curling and opening. Let's do it one more time. Curl it and open it. Okay, so one last spot on this side, on this foot, right? So we're gonna take that ball and we're gonna put it right on the heel, right underneath of the heel. And then from here, we're going to roll around again, right? Same thing as before, side to side, front to back. No right or wrong. You could go in little circles. You can go slightly off of the heel towards the arch. You could go towards the back of the heel, right? And again, if you don't feel it here, that's probably because you already felt it in your arch or by your toes, right? Everybody carries themselves differently, and so everybody is going to end up having different areas where they feel this the most. Okay, so come back to that heel. We're pressing down to the heel. We're going to squeeze the toes, and then we're going to open them back up. Squeeze the toes, open back up. Keep going. Do it a few more times. And then we'll just switch sides. So we'll take that ball, we'll bring it under the left big toe mound. All right, and then again, we're gonna put a little bit of pressure on it, and then we're gonna start rolling side to side, front to back. So this is really important work, right? If you experience pain in almost any part of the body, it is at least worth considering that your feet might be involved, right? So your feet are your foundation, and there's a lot of bones, there's a lot of fascia, there's a lot of joints, there's a lot going on in the feet, right? And so each of the bones are meant to be able to move with every step that you take, right? And so if your feet are tight, because we wear shoes every day, right? Or because we don't really work them out like we do the rest of our body. But if your feet are tight, it could very much affect the alignment and the movement of your knees, of your hips, of your ankles, all the way up into your spine and how your whole body aligns, right? And so a lot of people, they'll come to me and they'll say that they have hip pain or they have lower back pain, and then they are confused. So come right to that big toe mound. We're gonna close the toes and open the toes. So do that a few times, right? And they're confused why the first thing that I start with is we open up the feet, right? But you know, your feet are connected to pretty much everything else. So if you have neck pain, check out, roll your feet, right? Okay, so a few more times of opening and closing. And then move it over to right below the rest of the toes. So again, we'll press down, we'll find that movement side to side, front to back. And then come right below those toes. We'll close the toes over the ball and then open back up. So do that a few times. And then we will move to the arch, right? So moving into the arch, we're rolling that whole area. So explore first. You spend just a few passes going from side to side or up and down, just kind of exploring the entire arch, seeing where there might be a little bit more of a problem, and then spending the majority of your time on those tender areas. If you find a really tender spot, stay there for a moment, take a big breath in, and let it go. And then come right into kind of the belly of the arch, right? Right into not quite the middle of your foot, a little bit more towards the inside edge of that arch perhaps. And then we're gonna curl the toes and open. So we're pressing the foot down a bit, and then we're curling and opening. And let's do one more. And then let's move to the heel, right? So we'll press into the heel, and then we'll move a little side to side, front to back. Right, and so if you are doing this and you are like, dang, that's intense, right? Then you should be doing this probably like minimum 3 times a week, right? Especially if you are having other pain and then you're like, wow, my feet are so sensitive. It is likely that doing this might at least help a little bit with whatever that pain is that you have. Now, I'm not saying that a person who has low back pain doesn't have low back issues. It could be low back issues. It could be hip issues. It could be your knee issues. It could be, you know, right? Everything is connected. And so that's why we do a whole body kind of treatment, right? We work on the feet, but we also work on the hips, we work on the lower back, we work on everything. Okay, press into the heel, close the toes, open the toes, close the toes, open the toes. Let's do it 2 more times. Last time. And then just kick that ball off to the side. We don't need it anymore. Okay, so we're gonna sit down in our chair. And from here, we are going to just kind of work our way up the body a little bit. So we're going to extend through the right leg, and then we're going to point the right foot, and then flex, right? So a really big point, right? You should feel a big stretch, maybe even a little bit of cramping, and then flex the foot, toes back towards your face. So do this a few more times. And then we'll windshield wiper that foot. So we're trying to keep the movement in the ankle. We are trying to stabilize the knee. The knee is gonna move a little bit. That's okay. See if we can kind of maybe even hold on to that right knee a bit, and then we just windshield wiper that right foot side to side. Right, so we're trying to mobilize our ankle joint. We are not trying to move from the hip or move from the knee, right? It's a lot easier when we do it that way. But one more. And then take big circles with that big toe, right? It's like you're trying to maybe paint with your toes. We're just taking big circles and then switch directions. One more. And then just bring that right foot down. You can kind of step it out a little bit. Other side. So that left leg goes out in front. We're going to point the toes and then flex. Really big point. Really big flex. Right, so it is good to be able to utilize other muscles, other joint systems, other parts of the body to assist in big movements. Okay, windshield wiper, so maybe grab onto that left knee and find that windshield wiper movement back and forth. But it's also really, really good to be able to isolate parts of the body and find movement in that joint system alone, right? When we rely on other parts of the body for movement, we start to not even realize that we lose mobility in individual joint systems, right? Okay, big circles. Other direction. And then bring that foot down. You can kind of step it out a little bit. Okay, so we're going to either come to our wall or to whatever it is that you can use for some calf stretching. Right, so a lot of times we maybe not avoid, but we don't really stretch out our calves that much. So we're gonna bring the right foot forward, we're gonna bring the toes up onto the wall or to the side of your couch or whatever it is that you're using. And then we can bend that right knee just a little bit, right? And then from here, we're just gonna lift up maybe onto the left toes and then lower down. Now you don't have to lift, right? If this is already a big stretch on your calf, no problem, just stay right there. Otherwise we can lift and lower back down. If this isn't enough, then you can walk the toes even further up. You can bend your knee, that front knee quite a bit, and then you can start rocking forward and back as well. So we're just rocking forward and backwards, or we're staying right where you are, right? It's whatever feels necessary for you right now. All right, then we're gonna keep the right foot forward, but we're gonna bring it down off of the wall or whatever you're using. We're gonna kind of come into a little bit more of a lunge. So the right foot is fully on the ground, the left foot is fully on the ground, for right now at least, right? And then from here, we're just gonna bend into that right knee, see if we can get the right knee to touch the wall, and then come back up, right? So this should be a relatively big stretch on that back leg because we're trying to keep that heel down. So the knee comes and touches the wall, and then straightening back up. We'll do it a few more times. One more time. And then we switch sides. So right foot will step back. The left toes will go up the side of the wall or whatever you're using. And then you can just either stay right here. If this is enough, you could just kind of lean towards the wall, get a big stretch. But if you want more, then you start to lift up that right heel, coming a little bit closer, and then lowering back down. Right, so modify in any way that you need to feel this stretch, right? You know, calves can be pretty tight, so you might not need much. Okay, let's do one more. And then let's find that kind of more of a lunge position. So the left foot will just come flat onto the ground, maybe big toe an inch or two away from the wall. That right foot might need to step back a little bit more. The toes are still facing forward. So if your right toes are facing off to the side, see if you can bring it around, hips square off. Then from here, we're just gonna bend the left knee, see if the left knee can come towards the wall. Big stretch on the back of that right leg, and then come back up. Do that a few more times. One more time. and then just come back through center, shake it out. Okay, so it is good to mobilize and it is good to stretch, but in order to kind of train your body, to teach your body the movement that it is capable of, right, we also need to strengthen. So you can still have your hands here on your couch or on your wall or whatever. We're just gonna do some calf raises. So we'll lift up, feet are parallel. We're gonna lift up onto our toes and then lower back down. Lift up and lower down. We're gonna do it for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it for 3, 2, 1. Relax the feet down, shake it out a little bit. Okay, so from here, we're gonna move up the body, right? We've done our feet, our ankles, our calves. We're gonna work a little bit around the knees. So first, a little bit of just some movement. So we're gonna bring our feet close together. We're gonna bring our knees together. They don't have to, not everything has to be touching necessarily, but we do want it a little bit closer. We're gonna sink into a little bit of a squat, and we're gonna bring our hands to our thighs, right above the knees. Okay, then from here, we're just gonna take our knees in circles. Like a fun little dance, right? So take the knees in a circle. Your ankles can be moving, but try to keep the arches, all parts of the foot on the ground at all times, right? So you're just kind of moving the knees in a circle, switch directions, go in that other direction. Right, so we're just trying to mobilize around the knees. We're trying to get a little bit of movement. So if there's pain associated with this, either find more support, put your hands on a table, on a chair, something like that. Or maybe you back off a little bit and you sit down and you find some movement that way. All right, come back up, shake it out. Okay, then again, what we're going to do is we're actually going to strengthen the muscles around our knees, right? So if you are experiencing knee pain, it is likely that you are tight through those muscles, but it is also likely that you are not strengthening the muscles that are able to support that joint. Okay, so we're gonna, again, find a little bit of a squat. So notice my knees are not coming way out over my toes, right? That is okay. I don't want you to ever fear a specific movement. However, we have to work towards that, right? We can't just go right into that, especially if we have sensitivities already in our joints. So we're gonna send the hips back and down. The heart can be over top of the toes a little bit here. And then from here, you can again either bring your hands to your thighs or you can bring your hands to your hips. Okay, so from here, we're just gonna move our feet in kind of a clockwork motion. So we're gonna send the right foot towards 12 o'clock, right? All the weight is in that left foot. We're gonna bring that right foot back through center. Right foot out to 3 o'clock, back through center. And then right foot back to 6 o'clock. I don't have a lot of room here, that's okay. You get the gist. Okay, back through center. Let's do that 3 more times all the way through on this side. So right foot, 12 o'clock. Left leg stays exactly as is. Back through center. 3 o'clock, back through center. 6 o'clock, through center. 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, one last time, 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock. You can always have your hand on a chair, on your couch, whatever you need for support. Shake it out, and then we're gonna do the other side, right? So again, we're sinking the hips back and down, the knees are staying more or less over the middle of your foot, the arch of your foot, right? Not way out over the toes. Okay, then we're gonna shift the weight into that right foot. We're gonna extend that left leg out, 12 o'clock. Back through center, out to the side, 3 o'clock. Back through center, back behind you, 6 o'clock, center, and then keep going 3 more times all the way through. 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, one more time, 12, 3, and 6. Come back through center, stand up, shake it out a little bit, right? You should feel maybe a little bit of heat around the knees, in the quads. All right, so we're gonna come down to a seat on our mat or on the floor. Have your strap or whatever you need handy. We'll use that in just a moment. And before we lay onto our back to kind of finish off class, okay, so we are going to mobilize the knees, the kneecap just a little bit, right? So to do this, you have to have relaxed legs. So if this is a really, really intense stretch already, you could kind of bend the knees a little bit, maybe put a pillow underneath of the legs so that you can relax, right? So the legs are nice and relaxed. The quads are not very engaged here, right? See if you can kind of move them around. And then take your hands around that left kneecap, and then you're just gonna see if you can kind of move it around. The kneecap should be able to move relatively freely here, right? And so if it feels like it's not budging at all, that's okay. You know that you maybe have a little bit of work to do, and that is fine, right? It's all about identifying these problems and then seeing what we can do to solve them. So this might be a little tricky to do over video, right? A lot of times with a client, I will physically go over and I will move their kneecap for them. And so just see if you can get it to move side to side. If your quads are engaged, you will not be able to move your kneecap. That might be part of the problem. But you can move it forward, backwards, side to side. And this is something that I recommend, especially if people have either arthritis or some other type of pain in their knee, that it's something that they work on every day, right? Regaining mobility and movement in the kneecap. Okay, let's switch sides. So again, going over this right side, shake out that quad a little bit, see if you can find some movement, and then just see if you can move that kneecap around. And likely, if you have knee pain only in one knee, then that knee could very well be less mobile than the other. So just moving it around. Right, loosening up everything that kind of holds our kneecap in place. All right, and then just relax. You can shake out the legs a little bit, and we are going to lay on our back. You will want your strap with you. So we're gonna lay down on our back. We're gonna keep the right knee bent and the sole of the foot on the ground, and we're gonna extend that left leg out long on the mat. So you'll wanna engage the belly a little bit here. Your arms can come down by your side. And then what we're gonna do is we're going to lift that left leg up to about knee height. Hold it for a few seconds, and then lower back down, right? So again, this is about strengthening the muscles in your legs to support your joints, right? So we're gonna lift up and then lower down. Lift up. We hold for a second or two, lower down. Let's do 6 more. 5 more. Hold for a second, lower down. 4 more. 3 more, 2 more. This last one, let's hold it a little bit longer. So lift it up about knee height, hold it for 3, 2, 1, lower back down, maybe shake out that left leg. We'll switch sides. That left knee will bend, the foot comes to the ground, and that right leg extends out long. All right, then again, we're gonna lift that right leg up straight so that it comes to about that left knee height. Hold it for a moment, lower it down. So let's do that some more. Lifting up, lowering down. Lifting up, lowering down. Let's do 5 more. 4 more. 3 more. 2 more. This last one, we're gonna hold it up there. So knee height and then hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax that leg down, shake it out, and then grab your strap. So last thing that we are going to do, we'll start with that right leg. Just kidding, right? Clear all that. Then both of your knees so that your feet are on the ground. Okay, then keep that right knee, leg where it is. We're gonna loop the strap or whatever you've got around that left foot. Okay, so you'll hold on to the strap with both hands. Your knee, that left knee can be plenty bent, right? If this is a big stretch, yeah, no problem. It's a big stretch for everyone, so don't worry about it. So the knee can be plenty bent. We are just going to, so we're first just gonna start by pulling that left leg towards us, right? That could still be way out here. That is okay, right? We're just gonna pull it towards us, starting to stretch into that left hamstring. But now we are going to keep the knee about where it is. And what I mean is I don't want the knee going further away and then closer to me as I do this movement. I want it to stay about where it is. Okay, we're just gonna hinge at the knee, bring that left heel towards the bum, and then extend that foot back up. So we're gonna do that, keep going, right? Bending the heel towards the butt. A few more times. And let's do it 2 more times. And then that leg extends back up towards the ceiling. We'll give it one more good pull towards the face, right? Take a big breath in, breath out. And then we'll slowly just release that left foot out of the strap. The left foot can come down to the mat, and then we'll switch sides. So right foot goes up into the strap. And again, that right knee can be bent. It can be bent a lot. It can be bent a little. The leg can go towards straight, but actually we kind of want to avoid really straight knees anyways, in most poses, right? Not a bad thing, but you know, just allowing the muscles to kind of work together here. So take a big breath in, breath out. Pull that right leg in a little bit closer to you. Big stretch. Take a big breath in. Let it go. And then here we go. The knee, again, doesn't move far away from you and then back in towards you. Instead, we just hinge at the knee. Heel comes towards the bum and then extend it back towards straight. All right, so keep doing that. Let's do 2 more. And last one. One more kind of stretch at the top. So foot extends up towards the ceiling. Pull that leg in closer to you. Take a big breath in. Let it go. And then release the strap. Release that right foot down. Maybe bring your hands to your belly. Close your eyes and just kind of relax for a moment. Take a big breath in. Breath out. And, you know, rest here as long as you want, or you can come up to a seat and finish off your class that way. But thank you for joining me. Thank you for trusting me enough to guide you through something that I love, right? And until next time, keep on keeping on. Namaste.